John Cram Arts Leadership Award to Andrea Clarke. This award recognizes individuals whose contributions have lasting impact on the arts and cultural life of Buncombe County. It is named in honor of John Cram, founder of New Morning Gallery, Blue Spiral 1, the Fine Arts Theater, and Bellagio Art to Wear, whose belief and legacy. Andrea was an artist in the fullest sense of the word. She was a photographer, playwright, sculptor, performer, artisan, storyteller, and preservationist, whose creative work spanned disciplines, generations, and communities. Throughout her life, Andrea approached art not as a single practice, but as a way of understanding and honoring the world around her. Many people know Andrea through her photography, which became one of the most important visual records of Black life in Asheville over the decades. Through her lens, she documented neighborhoods, artists, musicians, churches, businesses, families, and everyday community life with extraordinary care and intention. But Andrea's photography was never simply documentary work. It was deeply artistic work, composition, emotion, and human connection. Her photographs captured not only people and places, but atmosphere, memory, resilience, and beauty. She understood that preserving a moment could itself be an artistic creation. And other historically Black communities are now some of the only visual records that remain of neighborhoods dramatically altered through urban renewal and redevelopment. Through her artistry, Andrea preserved pieces of Asheville's history that otherwise may have disappeared entirely. But photography was only one part of Andrea's artistic life. Andrea was also deeply involved in theater and performance. While living in New York, she directed off-Broadway productions, and later in New Orleans, she worked with community theater before continuing that involvement after moving to Asheville. Theater gave Andrea another way to explore storytelling, emotion, and human experience, themes that would remain central across all of her creative work. She was also a sculptor who taught herself welding and metalwork, creating large-scale pieces that reflected both technical skill and creative experimentation between artistic forms, always curious, always learning, and never limiting herself to a single medium. And alongside these practices, Andrea dedicated herself to traditional craftsmanship and folk artistry. For decades, she worked as a chair caner, restoring and hand-weaving chairs using techniques passed down through generations of artisans. Chair caning is meticulous work, patient, detailed, and deeply rooted in tradition. And Andrea approached it with the same artistry and respect that she brought to every creative practice. Her work helped preserve an increasingly rare craft tradition and reflected her broader commitment to handmade art and cultural continuity. She also taught African basket weaving to children and remained deeply connected to traditional craft practices throughout her life. To Andrea, artistry was not divided between fine art and craft. All creative expression held value. All forms of making carried history, culture, and identity forward. That philosophy shaped everything that she did. Andrea also carried forward generations of artistic and cultural tradition within her own family. Mr. Miller was one of Asheville's most important Black builders and craftsmen. Son of a former enslaved mother, he became a master mason, responsible for many of the city's most iconic historic buildings, including the YMI Cultural Center. Andrea spent years helping preserve and elevate his legacy through research, storytelling, preservation work, and public history initiatives. Artistry, craftsmanship, preservation, and storytelling were inseparable in Andrea's life. What makes her contribution to Asheville's arts community so extraordinary is not only the range of disciplines she worked across, but the way that she connected them all together. She showed us that photography can be preservation, that theater can strengthen community memory, that craft traditions are cultural heritage, that storytelling itself is an artistic act. She helped ensure that Black artists, Black communities, Black craftspeople, and Black cultural traditions were not erased from Asheville's artistic narrative. Through every medium she worked in, she created space for people to see themselves reflected with dignity, complexity, and beauty. Her work now forms part of the cultural memory of the city. But perhaps Andrea's greatest artistic contribution was the care in which she approached both people and history. She believed communities deserved to have their stories preserved. She believed art could honor memory. And she believed creativity could connect generations. Like John Cram, Andrea Clarke understood that art has the power to shape how a city sees itself. Both believe deeply in Asheville's creative community and in the importance of investing in culture, artists, and storytelling long before others fully recognize their values. Behind an extraordinary artistic legacy, one built through photography, theater, sculpture, craftsmanship, preservation, and storytelling, and through countless lives and history she honored along the way. Today, we celebrate Andrea Clarke as an artist whose work transformed Asheville's cultural landscape and whose creative legacy will continue inspiring generations to come. In addition to receiving a commemorative plaque, each John Cram Arts Leadership Award honoree, or in this case, the family, selects an eligible arts-based nonprofit organization or community project to receive a $1,000 ArtsAVL grant in their honor. Andrea's family has selected the YMI Cultural Center as the recipient of this year's grant. So a few words on behalf of Andrea's family as another extraordinary artist, Jenny Pickens. Please join me in honoring the life, artistry, and legacy of Andrea Clarke, recipient of the 2026 John Cram Arts Leadership Award.
It is an honor to be here to accept this award. Thanks ArtsAVL for this. Andrea and I met in 2021 and immediately became fast friends, and I won't forget the stories and gifts and things she brought into my life. And if she was here, she'd be sitting in the back grinning and smiling and shaking hands. So I love looking at this picture of her because I was her personal chauffeur that day. So once again, I'm just honored to be here, and thank you guys for showing up for her as well. And may we continue to love and share art and keep each other in our hearts. Thank you.